Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. Thank you guys for being here. I hope you guys are doing well. In today's video, we'll start the year with Philippine politics. Alright, so midterm election is coming. A lot of Filipinos are excited, anxious, and distracted. You know why? Because of this ongoing feud between the president and the vice president of the country, which is very sad because I think majority of the population just wants good governance. They want a better life, but unfortunately, that's not happening because the top two officials, politicians of the country, is too busy fighting to really fix the real problems of the country. So this feud intensifies. A lot of that has to do with the very bold, controversial statements coming from the vice president, accusing the president of so many things. So this fight, this feud, gets nastier and more personal. And it is very sad because it is like a telenovela unfolding in front of everybody, the public watching it. Some Filipinos are entertained by this, but for some, this is very concerning because, again, the public just wants to have good governance. They want a better life for them, their family. But that's not happening because they're too busy fighting. All right, so let's talk about that. How did this feud started? Well, first of all, this too was the dream team for a lot of Filipinos because they both came from very big, influential political families, should I say dynasties. You know, the Marcoses, the Dutertes. In one of my videos, I mentioned that in the Philippines, politics is basically all about territory. We call that in the Philippines baluarte. So the Marcoses, they hold the Ilocos region. The Duterte, they have Davao City, and the former president and the vice president right now, I think they both became mayor of that city. So this family is very influential, and Filipinos were hopeful about this team. That's why they call this team the UniTeam. That's what the alliance was called. Filipinos thought, oh, this is going to be great for the country. You know, they get along so well, both from very big, influential political families. This is going to be good. Well, that didn't last very long because that union unravels. And that really unraveled toward the end of 2023 when Sara Duterte resigned as education minister. So a lot of people were asking, how did this feud started? Well, there's a lot of rumors, obviously, because again, this is like a telenovela unfolding in front of the public. So there was some rumors about some statements made by the vice president, accusing the president of being a bangag. Basically translates to someone who is under the influence of some drugs. Insinuating that the president is under the influence. And of course, the first lady did not like this comment or this statement, and she said she just crossed the line and she's not gonna get away with that. So that's how it started, the dramas between the ladies. And I've seen a couple of, I guess, official, like, you know, like get together, whatever, like events that those two were in the same frame of picture, and you can see that the first lady just did not care. Like, she just completely ignored the vice president. So there was some drama going on between the ladies, and Marcos has been trying to like maintain the decorum, but it's getting out of control, especially with these recent statements made by the vice president. But I think a lot of this, it's much deeper than just what people talk about, because there's also a lot of things going on with the vice president, you know. um a lot of people were saying that this relationship became very fragile. It unraveled towards the end of 2023 when the vice president, Sara Duterte, resigned. She resigned as education minister. So, as the vice president, she was also given the role of being the secretary of education. Now, her flagship plan to impose military service in schools failed, and some people think that really neutered her after she wasn't also given. She also wanted the position, apparently, the position of being the defense minister. She did not get that. So there's some bitterness there, according to some people, allegedly. All right. And then came the investigation when it comes to the confidential funds that apparently were missing. She's being asked, where are those funds? You know, as the vice president and the education minister, she was given this 612 million pesos confidential fund, and apparently that's missing. So she's being asked, she's being questioned about this missing funds that was brought by this Speaker of the House, Romualdez. And when they were doing this investigation, when they started this investigation, they questioned her chief of staff. Her name is Zuleika Lopez. And during that questioning and this alleged misuse of the money, um, Zuleika Lopez, her chief of staff, was actually jailed for contempt on November 20. And a lot of Filipinos think that's what really pushed Sara Duterte, the vice president, that's what really pushed her past her breaking point. She did not like that her chief of staff was, jailed for contempt. And on November 25th, she vowed to fight the case brought against her chief of staff, which is Zuleika Lopez. But I think there's more to this feud than just that. Yes, there's that investigation. There's probably some bitterness that she did not get the position she wanted. But I think this is also connected to her father's ongoing ICC investigation. You see, her father was the former president of the country, Rodrigo Duterte. And a lot of people were saying that, well, with all of this pressure, with all of this investigation about the missing funds, her not getting the position, and this feud going on with the first lady, she's probably gonna back down and exit the political stage quietly. I don't think that's gonna happen. Just like her father, Sara Duterte is a fighter. Everybody, if you're a Filipino, of course, the former president. He's quite the fighter, and he's known for his campaign, the drug war campaign. And with that, apparently a lot of civilians died during that drug war campaign. And because of that, he's getting investigated by the ICC. This is the International Criminal Court's investigation into this alleged crimes of against humanity in the drug war of, during his presidency. And some people were saying, well, all of that pressure is going to get to her and she's going to quietly leave the political stage. I don't think so. Just like her father, she's a fighter. And I think that's actually going to be the driving force for her to want to stay in politics, because, of course, she wants to back her father. She's going to support her father. And I think there's also this animosity goes deeper because if you know the history of the Marcoses, the senior declared martial law in the Philippines. The country was under martial law. There was this people's revolution, and eventually the family got kicked out of the country. And the father passed away, and for the longest time, he was actually not buried. They froze him. But one reason why he was frozen instead of being buried, he's buried now. The reason why he's been frozen for so long is because the family insisted on burying him into this heroes cemetery. And of course, having the history, a lot of politicians, even Filipinos, don't want him to be buried there. They don't think he deserved to be buried there. But during the Duterte administration, this is the father, 2016, they actually allowed the family to bury their father in the heroes cemetery. So I think there's this expectation of a give and take. And I saw this during the speech of the son of Duterte. I can't remember his name. He had that speech in Davao, and he talked about that. He said, you got to remember, it's in Tagalog, but I'm trying to translate it. He said, you got to remember, we're the one that allowed you to bury your father in the National Heroes Cemetery. So he's insinuating, how about you remember that? In the Philippines, we call that utang na loob. So I think they have this expectation that, well, we gave you a favor by allowing you to bury your father in the hero cemetery. It's about time to give that favor back. And I think they want Marcos to take a stand, or they want him to make a statement basically saying that, I don't support this investigation. Now, this ICC, the Philippines was a part of that. This is the International Criminal Court. And the Philippines was a part of that. But during the Duterte administration, he actually took the Philippines out of that. And there were some rumors that maybe Marcos would do something to rejoin the Philippines into that ICC. But Marcos reiterated that the Philippines would not rejoin the ICC. But he said that his administration would neither help nor block the International Criminal Court's investigation into the alleged crimes against the humanity in the drug war of his predecessor, Rodrigo Duterte. And I think there are some expectations on that part. Like, we gave you this favor of allowing you to bury your father into the hero cemetery. It's about time you give that favor back by taking a stand on basically blocking this investigation. Now, this is my personal opinion, okay? Everybody's opinion on this is going to be different, but I think that's where that animosity started. Because again, I heard this speech coming from the son of Duterte, and he's insinuating that, as a Filipino, I can read between the lines, and I'm like, oh, okay, so there are some expectations there. So there are some animosity there, I think. Again, this is my personal opinion. And then the feud between the first lady, because some of the statements that she's made, I don't know when that started. Like, when did she start to make these statements? Because again, these two are allies, and then out of nowhere she started making these statements, and then a lot of things started happening to her. They started. I think she really expected that she's gonna get that position as the defense minister. She did not get it, and some people kind of started raising their brows. Why did she not get it? Okay, so another one, she started getting investigated for this missing confidential funds. Some people think that's kind of like a political move. I mean, I don't know. I mean, at least in my opinion, if there are funds missing, I mean, it's only right for that person to get investigated. People should be accountable. But then, knowing the corruption in the country, I mean, why is she the only one getting, investigated? Because that's happening everywhere else. Now let's take a look at the most controversial statement she posted on her Facebook page. Okay, I'm just reading this word for word, okay? I'm not sure if she said this on Tagalog because I did not actually see the video. I'm not sure if it's even up, but this is in English, okay? So I'm gonna read it word for word. She said, "This country is going to hell." This is according to the Vice President of the country, Sara Duterte. She said, "This country is going to hell because we are led by a person who doesn't know how to be a president and who is a liar. Don't worry about my safety. I have talked to a person and I said, quote, if I get killed, go kill Bongbong. This is the president of the country. Liza Araneta. This is the first lady. And Martin Romualdez. This is the speaker of the house who happened to be the one who's brought up that investigation against her about those, confidential funds." And then she said, no joke, no joke. She said, "I'm not joking. I said, do not stop until you kill them." And he said yes. So she's basically saying she's hired a hitman, and if something happens to her, she's given instructions to go ahead and kill them because they're the one that did it, basically. This shocked the entire country, and of course, even international. I mean, who would do this? But, it's only in the Philippines, I guess. But people were hoping to get a response from the president of the country. In fact, a lot of people are calling for her impeachment. But apparently, Bongbong Marcos saying, no, we don't have to impeach her. We don't have to do that. Let's not do that, which I think is really trying to maintain peace here because that would also, present a lot of challenges in his administration. So his response, he did not really react to this, but of course his family reacted. They're not very happy about this, of course. So what's next for this two? Because looks like this feud's not ending anytime soon. Now Marcos is only halfway through his term, with the next election, presidential election, scheduled for May 2028. So he's got 4 more years to go. And I don't think this situation could really continue because how are they gonna hold off all the way to 2028? They're just gonna keep fighting. What are they gonna accomplish fighting this long? Now, it's most likely to come in the shape of outright political conflict. Some Filipinos think it's just going to get worse between these two families, perhaps even breaking into violence. Now, we hope and pray that doesn't happen because, again, most Filipinos just want good governance and nothing's getting accomplished with these two fighting. Now, some people are also saying they could strike a deal, but that deal, which would most probably be an arrangement to allow Sara Duterte to run for the presidency unopposed from the Marcos clan. Now, I don't know who's really gonna oppose her from the Marcos clan, at least. I mean, the eldest son of Marcos, I think his name is Sandro. He is also a congressman. As I mentioned, all these family members are in politics. He's only 27, if I'm not mistaken. He's too young to run for presidency. Who's gonna be next in line? Amy Marcos? That's the sister who happens to be another politician. Everybody's in politics in these families. So I don't know who's gonna really oppose her, but I think some people were suggesting, well, for them to get along, he's gonna have to endorse her and let her run the next, election unopposed, endorse her, support her. But some people also are saying, well, that's not really good because that would only further weaken the fragile democracy in the Philippines. Some people are suggesting, is there anyone else who could run? I mean, why does he have to be her or from his family? Why does he have to be only two families? But why even ask that question? It's been like that in the country for so long. All right. And some people are also saying that if she becomes the president, let's say she run 2028, she runs unopposed, she wins the presidency, her father will continue to be protected from the ICC, from this investigation, and that itself will weaken the trust in any state institutions attempting to seek accountability. As I mentioned, he's getting investigated because of this apparently crime, alleged crime against humanity. Now I say alleged because I haven't looked into that, but apparently a lot of civilians lost their lives during that drug war. And some people are saying, well, she probably wants to be the next president because she wants to protect her father. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised. It's her father after all. Now, let's conclude this video before I get this video too long. Now, the political feud between the two influential families is bound to worsen ahead of the 2025 midterm election and 2028 presidential election. So the midterm elections coming this year, 2025, and then the presidential election, there's like 3-4 more years on that one. And therefore, it is crucial that we call out the Dutertes and the Marcoses and other officials if they are actively undermining the pursuit of truth and accountability. Now, I think the investigations on her, on those confidential funds that were apparently missing, misused, whatever you want to call it, allegedly, I think it's good that she's being, questioned about that. People should be accountable. But the thing is, like, why is she the only one getting questioned? I mean, there are other people that should be questioned too, I think. I mean, I think that's why some people are taking sides, because they think that this is more of a political move than really, holding her accountable. Is that true? I mean, if you have an opinion on that, you can add it in my comment section below. Now, the country has real problems. I mean, yes, very obvious problems. This is a problem, them fighting. This soap opera, telenovela, while entertaining for some, doesn't help the country. If anything, it only suggests more bad governance is to come. And that's very sad for the country. All right, I will end this video here. If you have anything you'd like to add, you are more than welcome to do that in my comment section below. I'll see you guys on my next video. Bye, everyone.